Hello, how are you doing? So today I thought I'd come in because the whole point of this podcast, more than anything, was to, I suppose, push on my own boundaries of perfectionism and I suppose to a certain degree being really affected of what I thought what others would think of me. Because when I was younger, I didn't seem to really care as much. Care is the wrong word. I didn't seem to really mind as much or think about it. And as I've got older, I seem to be more acutely aware, of different people's opinions and also self-doubt kind of creeping in as well. So I thought I would do this today on a little bit of vulnerability, because even now I struggle with that. And I know a lot of my clients do. I know a lot of my clients struggle with that vulnerability piece of like, wow, I'm supposed to be this person who knows what they're doing in this area. You know, I need to get it perfect, in inverted commas, all of the time. I need to show up and, not make mistakes and all of this stuff. And it's kind of ironic, isn't it, sometimes, I think, because we can get really stuck. And this morning I thought to myself, I woke up, I've been, what's the word? I've been easing myself into this for the last couple of days. And I thought, you know what? Something happened last night. Someone reached out to me a couple of days ago and said, hey, can we have a chat about, I've got a great idea for a guest for your podcast. And I thought, okay, life is showing me I need to get back on the horse. And I think sometimes we can, instead of actually just getting back on the horse, as it were, actually just starting again, we can try and go into this narrative of, but you haven't done it for X amount of time. Oh my goodness me, I can't believe you haven't done it for X amount of time. Why have you not done it? But if you hadn't have stopped and you just carried on, where would you be now? And oh my God, I can't believe. So, and we can kind of get carried away in that narrative. And what I've realized over time is it doesn't matter how long it's been since you got back on the horse, right? And again, that kind of metaphor for it, but it doesn't really matter. Well, when I say really, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter how long ago you last did this or actually anything else, because we try and tell ourselves these narratives, but at the end of the day, what really, really matters is actually we just get back on, right? We just carry on. And so today, I'm not even looking at when I last released an episode. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. And I think in my mind, I'm trying to tell myself it's been less time than I think it really has. So I'm sticking with that one, right? It's the same as when people talk to me about doing videos and lives and stuff. And I'm like, I never watch them back. Even now, I started doing them more in COVID. Even now, I never, ever, 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 ever watch a video back of myself. Why? Because there aren't many people out there that I know that don't not like the way they look and sound, right? It's a natural human thing, right? So if I watch it back, A, I'm going to get really stuck in that. And B, I'm going to get really stuck in the, oh, I should have also mentioned that. And oh, why didn't I talk about that? And oh, I can't believe you said 20 times. And oh, why did you say that? And we can get stuck in it. Even editing the podcasts, I get kind of really stuck in editing the podcast because I listen to it and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't even release this. Oh my God. Like, I can't believe the first episode I ever launched. I don't know if I ever talked about this, but I literally cackled the whole way through. And I was having a conversation with my other half, Paul, and I was like, honey, I cackled and I tried to get my podcast editor to edit all my cackles out. That's how bad I felt it was. And I probably just cackled now, right? And he said, but darling, you do cackle. That's your laugh, right? You cackle. And that's just who you are. And it was at that point I just thought, hey, unless I'm going to have some kind of surgery to remove my cackle, which, let's face it, I've just made that up. I don't even know if that exists. Okay, what am I going to do about it? I may as well just get on with life. And then just realise I've got a cackly laugh. And kind of that did help me releasing that episode with all of my cackles. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just even laughed at that. But like, why? And it was really strange because a few weeks ago, I'm in a networking group, and a few weeks ago, someone actually reached out to me. Two people on the same day, actually. I must have been having a really good day. I'd like really nailed my 60 seconds that day. Even I'm going to say that, right? Because actually, it was technically Paul's idea. Paul had this idea and I ran with it, and I was like, oh, that's just genius, right? That's brilliant. And I did this with like changing hats. It was like, I kind of even started by saying, this is either going to work out or it is going to be a complete SH star T show, right? And two people messaged me that day, and one said they really loved my energy, and the other said it was really great. When they walked in the room, they were feeling quite low, and then they heard my laugh and they felt better. So I thought, hey, actually, my cackly laugh actually makes people happy. There you go. They're probably thinking, at least I don't laugh like that, but who cares? So the point, I'm going to get back to the point of, you know what, because I went off a little bit of a side road, didn't I, about videos and all of that stuff. But the whole point is the same, right? It's all the same kind of stuff, in the fact of we just need to almost like stop ourselves in that moment, be like, just stop going down that road, because you're going down a road like that's not even helpful. Just stop and be like, here I am. Am I going to get back on or not? Because I get to choose. And actually, I realised that if I don't get back on, like, what am I showing to my clients? And, a lot of my clients say to me, Anna, the thing is with you, you walk your talk. I'm doing the walk. I'm not sitting there kind of doing one thing and saying another, although sometimes I feel like I am, right? I think as a coach, it can be quite difficult. And I have quite a lot of clients who are coaches, mentors, consultants, etc. It can be really hard because there are times when you aren't quite ready to have that breakthrough. You're in that sticky phase before you have, you've got the awareness, right? Because the awareness is key. But after the awareness comes acceptance before we can actually have a breakthrough, right? And that sticky bit where you're just aware of it and you haven't had the acceptance part yet come through, you're not quite ready. That feels really horrible because I don't know about you, but I feel really sometimes disingenuous. I don't know if that's the correct word. But I just feel like, I'm in this at the moment, and it kind of, what am I even trying to say with that? It can just feel sticky. So I think that's like everything, right? So in that sticky bit, it's like we've got to get back on to go into the acceptance. And for me, even doing this, and I woke up this morning, I was actually super excited. Okay. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be super honest. And this is really hard for me to be honest about this. I woke up this morning with anxiety in my body. Okay. However, I know that anxiety in my body is just habit. Okay. I know it's just habit because my body was in anxiety for a long period of time, between probably the age of mid-20s to mid-30s, if not a little bit later, probably late 30s. And my body was in anxiety for about at least 10 years, at least 10 years. Okay, so that was ingrained into my body. So it's natural that I wake up now and my mind and my body go straight to that point. But now I just tell myself at that point, but that's not true. You don't feel anxious. Like, that's not true. That's excitement, right? It's not anxious. You're excited to get started with the day. And I take a few breaths and I lie in bed and I go into gratitude, right? And I've had to up my gratitude because, I was getting a little bit more complacent with my gratitude. I need to take that to the next level. And we sometimes need to do that. I think we can get stuck in the fact that like, I used to do this and it's not working anymore. And actually, sometimes we just need to mix it up because we get bored, right? As humans, we need stimulation, we need uncertainty, we need variety. And we can get bored of that. And actually, we need to, at that point, mix it up a little bit and do something different. So I did that this morning, and I got up and I was like, I'm actually really excited today because I'm going to record some stuff for the podcast. I'm going to edit some stuff that and actually post it, that are pieces where, you know, stuff happens. So like one episode, like when it recorded at two different volumes and stuff like that. And, you know, I had a few hurdles to get over to get the episode done. It wasn't just play sailing. And another episode, I was really judgmental because of the conversation I was having. I was being really judgmental. I'm going to release both of those episodes, right? And they were recorded a little while ago. So yeah, here we are. I'm going to stop waffling, as my children say. My children say to me, Mum, just stop waffling. Like, literally, I love them to bits. My children are my greatest teacher, and there's this whole thing in my family. Like, I have 3 boys, right? I'm completely and utterly ganged up on the fact that I have 3 boys. They're all incredible. And they're just like, get to the point. You know what? Like you've said concisely the thing, and then you keep talking. Well, my kids are just like, Mum, just stop. Like, yeah, just stop waffling, right? Stop waffling past that bit. And I think we can think. Sorry, I'm going off at another little bit of side road. Then I'm going to finish. I think we can sometimes, especially if we've got kids, think like, you know, but I need to tell them to sing. Like my youngest son, I don't know how, he just picks stuff up. I think he hears me coach so much that he just picks this stuff up. Like, he puts meditations on his TV. I've never taught him how to do that. He like puts white noise on his phone. I've never taught him how to do that. Like, I'm like, where do you get this stuff from? Right? I've never taught him to do any of that stuff. And although the eldest one, I did when I was working back at Tony Robbins, and he was about 16. And basically, how I bribed him to listen to personal development, I was like, right, your allowance is based on listening to Tony Robbins, because I had all of his collection. I was like, you've got to listen to Tony Robbins in the shower, like every day, right, for at least 10 minutes. And that's how you earn your allowance. So that's how I got my eldest into personal development. But the youngest seems to have just been absorbing it. So I think we can get too hung up sometimes on what people think, or getting someone to understand, or getting our point across. Actually, just everything is perfect in the moment. So I think that brings things to a close. I hope you're having a great day. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as ever, I never talk about this actually, but I'm going to talk about it. My website is alignedlife.co.uk. The episodes are on there, although I do think I need to update some of those, so I'll probably do some of that a little bit later. And on there, you can book also like a clarity / chemistry call with me. So if you are kind of like resonating with what I'm saying with all of this stuff, and you're thinking, hey, yeah, like what's stopping me from having, like, I know logically I have the perfect life, right? I know logically, because this is me all over, right? My life is so different from what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? I started my first business, and I'll be honest, I'm ashamed to say this, right? When I started my first business, so when I just left HSBC, I was a financial advisor at HSBC. I left. I look back now and I'm like, were you crazy? I left when I was literally just about to receive my bonus, like 3 months later, and I was in the running to win a holiday. I look back and I'm like, and you did that? Like, why? Like, what were you thinking at that time? And this is also the difficulty, right? We don't know what we were thinking in hindsight, because we've had all of that growth. I have absolutely no clue what I was thinking. I think what was happening was just the case of I was so busy with my new business. I was like, I cannot take anymore. I cannot cope anymore with having a job and a business that is, at the moment, my business is earning me more than my job. I can't cope. That's probably what I was thinking. I have no idea, right? Because it was a long time ago. It was nearly 20 years ago. It will actually be 20 years this August-y time. So what was the point I was trying to make there? That's actually a great question, Anna. Okay. well, one of the points is we don't know what we were thinking, right? So we can't use hindsight at all. I have no idea what I was now thinking. So it will come back to me if it was actually important. No, about perfect life, right? My life is so much different. And like, oh yeah. So when I had my first business, sorry, I went completely at a tangent there. And retract the sorry. Chuck that out the window. Okay. If any of my clients are listening to me, they'll like, yep, chuck it out the window. And I will literally do that on the phone. I'll be on a call with someone and I will literally be like, sorry, just got to chuck this out the window. People think I'm probably quite crazy, but hey, who isn't? What was going to say here? So yes, back in my first business, my morning breakfast after dropping the kids off from school was a can of Red Bull and a croissant. Like literally, that was my fuel. And I wondered why I had anxiety. Like seriously, I look back and I'm like, and you wondered why you had anxiety. You were fueling yourself every day with a croissant and a can of Red Bull. Like you really wonder why? However, I didn't have the knowledge back then that I have now. Now I have that knowledge. My 21-year-old, well, he's 21 this year, 20-year-old, he came to me the other day and he was like, Mum, I really, my mind is like overthinking. Like, the likelihood is we've all got ADHD. We're not diagnosed. And he said, I want to start looking at the diagnosis process. I was like, yeah, okay, we're good with that. He's actually come back from it. We all tend to go there when we're having a bad day. We tend to go to let's get diagnosed, and then we're like, you know what? No, I can deal with this. I can deal with this on my own. We don't need to do that. And he said to me, he had this realization about drinking Red Bull, and he was like, when I drink Red Bull, this is how it makes me feel. And I was like, great. I said, you know that caffeine is going to create those kind of feelings, and he's now come back off drinking caffeine and stuff like that. He's 20. I wish I'd learned that at 20. Like really, I wish I had, because I didn't learn that until I was probably mid-30 about caffeine and how it affects your body and stuff like that. And even now, I know within probably a minute if I've had caffeine, because sometimes I love decaf coffee and whatever, and if there's coffee in that, I'm now so sensitive to it. I know within literally seconds that I've had caffeine. Anyway, so the point I'm making there is my life is very, very different to what it was like 20 years ago. And now kind of I have the life like I couldn't have even dreamt of. Like I could not dream of the life that my life would not be the dream that I had. This is way beyond the dream that I had, that I had, right? And I think we can forget that. We've got our dream life, but actually we're humans. So there's always going to be another level. There's always going to be growth, especially if we are someone who loves growing. I love growing. I love learning. I always want to learn new stuff, which is why I think I adapt and evolve so much with my clients, because I am always learning and growing and learning new techniques and learning new skills and learning all of this new stuff just to help me and my clients, right? Because I help me first and then I can help my clients. And 9 times out of 10, I will go through a sticky patch and I'll be like, oh my goodness me, like what is going on? What's happening? What's coming up for me here? Like, what are the lessons here? And then 2 weeks later, a client will go through exactly the same thing. And I'm like, I went through that 2 weeks ago. I know how they feel, right? And I can help them so much more. So we can get stuck sometimes in logically, we know we've got this ideal life, but it doesn't feel like it. And I know what that feels like. And even I have to do my own work. I find that really frustrating sometimes. When I'm in the awareness and not yet the acceptance bit, I find doing my own work, like really like, oh my God, I've got to do my own work. I can't believe that I have to do this. And honestly, I have a full blown, like I'm not doing this bit for about like a few hours or a day or whatever, and then I'm like, can I just do it? Like, just stop doing that. But the biggest thing here is the acceptance part of allowing yourself to do that. Allow yourself to have a temper tantrum. Allow yourself to think bad thoughts about people when you're a coach, and like you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so judgmental. Guess what? We're judgmental people, right? We humans are judgmental. If you weren't judgmental, you would die. So we just need to reframe that, and we're not judgmental, right? That's just our brain keeping us safe, because otherwise, if we didn't constantly make judgments about stuff, you would literally walk in front of a car, like pretty much every day. Like, well, you wouldn't every day, because let's face it, you do it probably once, maybe twice at the most, right? You won't be here anymore. So that is our brain trying to save us. So anyone who tells me they're not judgmental, I'm like, how does your brain work then? Because your brain is judgmental. It's just a case of what we do with that judgment thought. Anyway, I am going to bring it to a close now, because I have been talking for 20 minutes. So, but I could talk about this all day long. And then I saw 2022, which I love numerology and numbers. And yesterday I was seeing 111 all day. And then I moved money around him. I literally, this is how sad I am at times. Yesterday, I literally moved money in my business accounts just so one of my accounts had 111 in it. Like, literally, I spent time and effort just doing that. I've now, even all of my like I do, if you have read the book T. Harv Eker, Millionaire Mind, real good book. It's all about pots. I've been doing that for 20 odd years. I was doing that when I did that before I knew it was even a thing, right? I would separate my money into different pots. And now I'm really sad and have the pots as like, I even like any kind of like payments I make to anything, I'm like 222 333 111. Honestly, great, love it. So have a great day. On that madness note, I've let you a little bit more into my world of like, Anna is absolutely a little bit, whatever. Have a great day. And yes, go and have a look at the website, alignedlife.co.uk. I'm working with my amazing team at the moment. When I say team, God, that makes me sound like I can't say stuff like that, because it makes me sound so like, oh my God, I've got this big team. I haven't. I've just got some people who, like, you know what, Anna, stop, because you're going to now see, I do this too. You see, you even just witnessed what I do in myself, and then how I stop myself. And I'm like, Anna, just stop that, right? Stop having the conversation, just like whatever. And even I'm going to end on that point, actually. The amount of times that we say something and then we're like, why do I even say that? It's not even true. My clients say that all the time, right? And they'll say something and they're like, I don't even know why I said that. And I'm like, hey, because it's just habit, right? We just need to throw it away. The amount of times that I actually, in the middle of a conversation, will say to people, don't know why I just said that. It's not even true, right? I'm just going to take that back and throw it away, because it's just not even true now. And that's the one thing that we can give ourselves a really hard time for and feel like we need to apologize and do all this stuff. But in actual fact, we can just stop ourselves in that moment, because actually stopping ourselves in that moment is really important, rather than just keep going and digging a hole, right? It's really important we just stop ourselves in that moment, regardless of how stupid we think we are going to look or feel or whatever. Actually, it's just really important that we stop ourselves and go, hey, actually, yeah, what I've just said is just habit. And it's because I'm so used to just saying that. It's okay. I can now make a new choice. Because I think what our expectation can be, and if you've got kids, you'll understand this, right? Getting a kid into a habit seems to take no time at all. Bad habits in kids, it's like you wake up one day and you're like, how has my child got this really bad habit, right? Like, how has it happened? We know that it's happened over time, right? But we just don't know that it's happened over time. It then seems to take months and weeks to get them out of that habit. I can remember my eldest, I got him into a habit of me literally lying. He would be in bed and I would have to lie with my head on him, right? So I literally, how I got out that one, and it was very laborious, right? I just started lifting away a bit, and then I would put my hand on him rather than my head on him, and then I would come to the side of the bed, and then I would inch away from the bed. Honestly, it felt like it took me a millennia to break that habit. But I did, right? I did. I just thought, I need to break this habit. This is a ridiculous habit for me to be in. I need to break it. It doesn't matter how we got to the habit. We just need to break the habit. So it can take, as one of my mentors says, because I trade financial markets on the side, as it were, my little side gig. And he says the markets go up on this, well, let's say it the other way around, go down in the lift and up on the stairs. And he's right on that, right? That's like anything. That's like habits. That's like growth. It feels like we go down in the lift and we go up on the stairs. And it's just life. Especially when we're trying to get out of a habit, because in actual fact, it's just consistency and it's little bit. And I'll be honest, it feels frustrating. It does. It just is that way, right? And it's how we can get over that, how we can just keep going and keep motivating ourselves, and it's just one more step. It's just one more step. It's just one more step. So I'm going to end on that note. Have an amazing day. I'll put some show notes in as well, and come visit the website because, yeah, I don't promote it enough, and I'm making some changes on there and making it look even cooler, right? Because although that sounds really crap, doesn't it? Because yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm changing it because I am a big person who loves innovating, and to be honest, that's how I've wrecked stuff in the past, because I over innovate. I have to hold myself back from innovating. I'm like, Anna, just stop innovating, just enjoy it. And and even how to get out that one right is just be like, Anna, you've put or whatever your name is, right? Your name might not be Anna. So you've put all of this work into now, all of the hard work is there. Now it's like a savings account. Now you just get to enjoy it, right? You've put all the work in there. You just get now to enjoy it. Because I don't know about you, but I have this story like, oh, it's too easy. I can't enjoy this. It came far too easily. So now it's about no, it didn't come easily, because when you've gone through that push of the 80%, right? We get to 80%, that bit feels really easy. The extra 20% feels like really hard oftentimes. Other way around. So it can feel really hard up to the 80%, and then that last 20%, like once we break through that, the rest just pops. I know I did that with when I did my coaching masters. I nearly gave up. I nearly gave up my degree, and I nearly gave up my coaching masters. And once I pushed through that bit, I then told myself, oh my God, I can't believe I just got this, because it was so easy. It wasn't easy. The bit before was really hard. And then actually, once it clicked, it all felt good. So I think we can tell ourselves this narrative that it was all easy, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So remember, go back to it was not easy. You actually pushed through that really hard bit, and you carried on, and now you're actually reaping the rewards for that. So I'm going to end, because I was going to end 7 minutes ago. So have an amazing day, and subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I am actually going to go. Have a great day. See you later.